Welcome to Financial Clinic, your ultimate guide to achieving financial success. Proudly sponsored by NCBA Bank. Join Sally Limo as she expertly shares invaluable tips and insights designed to empower you in reaching both your personal, business, and financial goals with NCBA Bank. Your journey to a brighter financial future starts here.
NCBA. Go for it.
So my name is Susan Ndungú, and I head the SME banking department at NCBA. SME is small and micro enterprises throughout the country. SMEs form the backbone of the Kenya's economy. SME provides 80% of employment, and about 90% of the registered businesses in Kenya are actually SMEs. As NCBA, we are here to actually support those SMEs. They have many challenges that we need to, and many gaps that we need to always fill as a bank. We tailor-make solutions so that we can help them scale and move forward. Where it's important to have a robust financial strategy in this market is because SMEs are dynamic. They have quite a number and array of challenges or needs that they have. And if you just look at one side, if you look at just financial, then you fail to look at others. Others are access to markets, education. Most of the SMEs need to skill up because nobody is a master of their own game until they grow gradually. So it's very important to cover the whole range of the needs of SMEs so that they can grow and scale. Join us in the Financial Clinic at Family TV. Tune in so that you can learn more about what we can offer you and the strategies you can put in place to scale up your business.
Twende mbele. NCBA. Go for it.
A very good morning on this beautiful Wednesday morning, the 23rd day of April 2025. It is a delight to be with you this morning as we discuss matters finances. Hope you're well and keeping warm on this cold morning. But if you're not warm, then we have an amazing discussion to keep you warm as you sit right there, and do not touch that dial because it's on matters financial strategies on scaling SMEs. And my name is Sally Limo. Joining me in studio is two amazing ladies, an expert and someone who's really excelled when it comes to matters SMEs, a lady who's going to tell us a story, take us through her challenges, take us through her successes. And so don't miss this conversation, because you can loop in on 20316, which is our SMS line, or 0786 316 316, which is our WhatsApp line. My name is Sally Limo. Welcome to the show, as we also welcome our guest this morning, Susan and Mary. But I'll start with you, Mary, to introduce yourself to the audience.
All right. My name is Mary Njue. I'm an engineer by profession.
Right.
I'm the founder and chief executive of Epicenter Africa. Yes.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Yeah. Susan?
Thank you, Sally, for having me. My name is Susan Ndungú. I'm the head of SME at NCBA Bank, really taking care of the small and micro enterprises.
Fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
Probably I'll start with you, Mary, just to take us through your journey as, an entrepreneur, how you got yourself to, what you do and how you got yourself there. What inspired you?
Oh, my story as an entrepreneur started way back when I was a student at the Jomo Kenyatta University on attachment. I worked for this company that was doing installations for water. And I was privileged to go to a site installation in an arid area in Samburu, where we installed a pump in a community that had not had water for a long, long time. Now, after 3 days of having the installation done, we had water, and the whole village came out with song and dance with their jerry cans to get water. And that evening, they slaughtered a goat for us. I was only a student then. You can imagine what that did to me. And I told myself, you know what? This is what I want to do. This is my purpose. And from there on, I went on to work for the same company, worked for a few other companies. But before long, I knew I needed to run my own outfit. And I do exactly the same thing, providing water to arid communities.
Oh wow, fantastic. Impacting lives in a very, in a very, very unique way. Congratulations on that.
Thank
Susan, when we come to SMEs, how is the current situation in the country?
So the current situation of SMEs is, I could say, is bright,
Okay.
if I have to use that word.
Okay.
The thing is, as you hear what Mary says, the mindset of Kenyans is really doing business. Everybody wants to make extra money.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to go into business. And indeed, SME is the backbone of this country. It is a fact that 98% of the businesses in Kenya, or maybe over 90%,
Yeah.
are SMEs. And that's where people make livelihoods. We have over 80% employment from SMEs. And I can say it's bright for SMEs.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And for you, Mary, just looking at where you are at right now, how has the bank played a role, like NCBA really to be precise? How has they been able to hold your hand, played a role in ensuring that you are successful in what you've been doing or you're doing so far?
So the business that I do or we do is very capital intensive.
Right.
We do projects, which means we are doing construction work, implementation of projects requiring quite a bit of capital for each project. And the sort of clients that we serve require us to complete a project before we can bill and get paid. You can imagine how you would be able to do that without financing. So for us, the bank has been really the backbone on which we have grown our business from very small, because we've just grown, very gradually, with, loan after loan. I mean, there are many facilities that NCBA Bank has, and we've been able to utilize a number of them for our growth, be it LCs. When we want to import, we import solar panels, pumps, and equipment like that. We cannot be able to do our projects from our own financing.
Yeah.
And we have some long cash cycles. You could imagine even over 90 days, 100 days cash cycles. You cannot do that with your own money.
Yeah.
So NCBA has been, the financial for us to be able to get our projects done from start to finish, and we're able to get our clients to pay us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Susan, you're doing a great job right there. We can tell from what Mary's talking about. But, if someone is out there and they're listening to you, and they're just starting off as an entrepreneur, how does NCBA then help someone who's just on that beginning, a startup? How do you help them to move on to the next phase?
Okay, so when you're a startup, and generally when you start a business, you would start with your own money or with your own resources.
Right.
Be it trying to get from family or just the small savings that you have. I don't know what Mary started with, but you start with your own money, mainly because there are so many uncertain things. You're not very sure of tomorrow. So what happens is that you have a big business idea and you have to quickly put it into action.
Yeah.
So what happens is that you execute your business plan based on what planning you have done. So we come in to help startups generally to plan their business, open an account with us, advisory on the risk bits or the key points in a business that you need to check on before you take off.
Okay.
We also help you now start scaling up slowly by slowly. Scaling up means that if you do require debt financing, you will already have seen how the business runs, how cash flows are coming, what are your projections, how much money you actually need, so that you can start small and then start scaling up slowly by slowly.
Okay.
Very few businesses will start, on a very high level. Usually, even when you have the money at hand,
Right.
you start injecting slowly by slowly to test the market and to test the demand of your services or your goods, and also the market end to end, so that you're able to now take off.
Okay,
Yes.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And you've spoken about, you've touched on business plan. Mary, did they come in to help you on the business plan, or was it just the financial support? Was there mentorship, guidance, or even financial literacy at some point from NCBA?
So how I got involved in NCBA is very interesting. And barely a year into my business, it was really a startup. I got a huge contract, which was almost twice my annual revenue at the time.
Wow.
It was not possible for me to do this project. I was actually very worried about it.
Okay.
And I walked around many financial institutions, and I landed at NCBA.
Okay.
And as much as I was a very young business with a big contract,
Right.
It looked like a risk, but they embraced the whole project because I was able to take them through the project and how we were going to do it. And they actually financed this project. Our first ever big facility we got with NCBA.
Yes.
And from then on, it just took a leap. And because of the faith they had in a young business, for me, that has been a relationship that, I cannot match with anything else.
Wow.
And from then on, NCBA always has a number of activities that will call us in for the famous breakfasts.
Wow.
We even had a koroga sometime, and they put us together, people with the similar sizes of businesses. We are able to network. They bring us great speakers to engage on topics that are important to us. I mean, it's like a family, and you're there, and the relationships now you create in these forums, even with your relationship managers and other bank officials, when you have an issue, then it is very easy for them to, to feel you, you understand each other, and they can assist you from, challenges that you might come across financially. Yeah.
Sounds like a very healthy relationship you have with NCBA.
Absolutely.
It's sort of just about business. It's not about the money. There's also that, personal.
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Susan, when you look at different banks, there's something about creditworthiness. What are some of those steps that probably someone needs to take to be able to be creditworthy at NCBA?
Yeah, creditworthiness is actually a very good thing to have, even as a person.
Okay.
And the same thing you treat your own personal finances is the same way you will treat a business. So firstly, it is good, like Mary did, it is good to reach out to a bank. And especially when you need credit. Yeah. That's okay. But even before you reach out to a bank and explain what you really need to, you really need to do, you need to be careful in your business. First of all, cash is king. We always say cash is king. Yeah. Take care of your finances. Take care of cash inflows. Be mindful of what is coming in and what is going out. Pay your suppliers in time. But most importantly, make sure that people you have sold to pay you in time. So take care of receivables because that's where your money is. Right. And if they stay too much with your money, then you have cash flow gaps. That's the first thing. Secondly, review your business. Evaluate properly and see that there are no loopholes. That cash can actually come in, but it's seeping through some various cracks in the business that you do not, you're not being able to identify. For example, you could have staff, you're not at every spot in your business. You could have staff that are taking out either stocks or are taking out, those are special cases, but you need to be very careful. Where is that money going when it comes in? Okay. Who are you paying first? Who are you prioritizing? Who can wait for you? Can you negotiate for terms? Those are some of the key things so that you're truly creditworthy. Okay. Are you keeping those records right? Because it's very critical that you have a trail of how your business is running. Because whoever comes into that business would like to know what is the trend, what has been happening in this business probably for the last 6 months. And so you need a good system to be able to track this. You need to have a, even a good software that can be able to track even your stocks. But creditworthiness in itself, at the end of the day, is good repayment.
Okay.
If you get a debt, can you please pay in time? Because if you don't pay, if I lent you money, Sally, today, and you don't pay me, believe me, next time, I will not be able to give you. Yeah. And it happens even to businesses. So be keen to meet your obligations.
Yeah.
That way you become totally creditworthy.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay. Mary, you know, for you to be where you are right now, I'm sure there's so many financial strategies you've been using and putting in place. What are some of those strategies that have helped you move from survival, quote unquote, to now scaling up your business?
Right. From survival to scaling of an SME, as you start a business.
Yeah.
First of all, it is important that you understand your business and it is scalable.
Okay.
Because there are some businesses that are really difficult to scale. But if you have a large market to serve, then it is easy to scale your business. Also, a lot of what we have done ourselves is that because our business has a big market, we can therefore be able to have a bigger footprint. So what we do here in one county, we can replicate it in another county and therefore be able to scale to that. What we do in Kenya, in the arid lands of Kenya, we can do the same in Uganda, in South Sudan, in Somalia, where they have similar challenges. So we can scale geographically like that. Financially, to be able to scale, of course, you have to look at growth financing. There's your working capital that you have to look at, but now to grow, you have to look at growth financing. And it's always good to sit with your financial advisor, like with a bank. NCBA are very good. They will sit with you and they will help you to project, your cash flows to look at this is the growth I require, this is the capital I need to go into this scale, either of a new market, a new product, a new geographical area, and they're able to help you to project that, and they can be able to finance you step by step as you grow and as you scale your business.
All right. You've mentioned challenges. I may just want you to touch on some of the challenges probably you've been through in your journey.
Well, many challenges. I mean, and running a business, they say sometimes it's one of the 1,000 ways to die. But it is also has a lot of rewards and very fulfilling, especially if you do what you love. Challenges are there, and every day you come across challenges. Financial challenges is always, something that a business person has to deal with. Cash flows are never predictable. You have a supplier you need to pay, their check is going through, and the other customer hasn't paid yet. What do you do? But now if you have a good relationship with your banker, like NCBA, then they're able to clear your check and they know that your next payment is coming through, and you don't have to bounce your supplier's check because you need them tomorrow. Financial challenges of various forms, whether it is about growth, whether it is about you're looking for capital for a new a new growth area. Other challenges in an enterprise, of course, a lot of them are about human resources. How do you put the right people in the right place? How do you motivate your staff? Because your staff are the ones who really represent you when you're not there, especially when you scale. Challenges around the environment, changing environment. We are in an industry where it was heavily donor funded. We just had USAID pull out recently. I mean, there's a big shift. How do you navigate those changes? Challenges are there, but with time, and if you understand your business well, then you know how to steer in which direction, and you keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Susan, that's from now an entrepreneur point of view, the challenges he's experienced. Do entrepreneurs, SME startups, or do they come to you for solutions? What challenges do they face?
Yes, they do come to us, and we also visit them a lot, interact with them, and the challenges are many. As you can tell, mostly the first challenge of SMEs is financial.
Financials, yes.
And that's what they all say. Whenever you go into an SME or you speak to an SME, the first challenge is financial. So that's really big.
Yeah.
Indeed, if you are not well financed, how do you scale up? How will you pay your employees?
Yeah.
How will you buy stock? How will you, make ends meet? So indeed, it's a big challenge. But there are many other challenges, and I'm glad Mary mentioned about human resource. Lately, I have discovered, or most SMEs have said, the worst thing or the next headache has been resourcing the right talent. And I do understand, because getting talent could be expensive.
Yeah.
You may not have that capacity. You actually need a finance manager. Are you able to pay the right finance manager? You need an IT person or that talent in your business. Are you able to attract the best so that your business is well covered? So there are those constraints that now results to having that challenge of human resource. Management of human resource also requires a lot of intellect.
Right.
Do you have the time to monitor all this? Do you, how have you organized your business?
Okay.
Now, when also business are starting, how do they organize? What is the strategy? They have a planning. Most of the SMEs have a planning problem, simply because they started a business. It worked, as we spoke in the beginning, it worked, but now it has grown to a certain level. Things are starting to, get challenges here and there.
Yeah.
But how have you organized the flow of your business from this point? For example, if you're a manufacturer at the factory, how are you organizing the goods to be transported from the factory to the store, from the store to distribution? Which model have you picked? So structures are also a problem.
Okay.
And it's good that you benchmark with others who are successful. But some SMEs, or most SMEs, are very busy doing their own business. You tell them to benchmark, there's a challenge.
Yeah.
Very few now are coming up to say they want to benchmark. If you look at your local shop, the shopkeeper, the owner, is always behind the counter. Do you think they go out to check?
No.
Because their shop is always busy. They're just exchanging cash. And they're looking at the behind, the CCTV, what is happening. And so time to benchmark also becomes, and network also becomes a problem. So there are many challenges, including even education. Lately and in recent times, we are glad that professionals have really come into the business world. And so things are really starting to change. A lot has changed, so it is bright because people have embraced education.
In terms of financial literacy?
Financial literacy and even business management. People have really embraced it. But there's still a huge population that have stuck to what they started with and what they know, what my father taught me, what I saw my mother doing, and they carry on. Sometimes they are mistakes, but they work for them. They make money for them. But believe you me, if you got in an expert, a consultant, or you spoke to your bank, we have very good advisors. If you spoke to them and listened to them, you would be able to actually scale your business. Probably 2 times, 3 times, 10 times even. Yes. So there are many, many challenges. And the challenges also of knowing what is happening around you. Mary has just said that USAID has stopped financing. Some of the SMEs don't even know what the government is offering, what is happening to this organization. So you have shut yourself. But at NCBA, I'm glad that we try and educate customers. We try and put them in networks. We try and tell them in webinars that probably this is happening. Maybe there is a tax regime or a tax law that has come that will definitely come to affect you. And they're like, oh, I thought we are running with the way we've been doing it. But this will affect you. So information, access to markets. That's another challenge, actually. So I'm talking about access to markets. If you want good marketing, you need to put in some sort of resources into it. But most SMEs, either will not have the capacity or even the knowledge that you actually can employ or put in place somebody to take on with your brand, do marketing strategies, so that you're able to quickly capture a certain, market.
Yeah.
But I don't blame them. The markets and the way times are moving, sometimes it's good to first clean up your house before you go.
Venture out.
Yes. In marketing, we say whatever you have at hand is way better than what is out there.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's better to just use the networks that you have, the customers that you have, and get the best out of them.
Okay.
We say milking the cow, the cash cow that you have.
Okay.
So those are some of the challenges. Yeah.
Wow, that was quite deep, quite, vast.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Mary, from your story, your solution, how has it impacted the people you work with, probably a community somewhere, some village somewhere, a school? How has your solution impacted their lives or changed their lives for that matter?
Okay, so the beneficiaries or the people we serve really are communities. We are very much community-centric, and the solutions we offer, solar water pumping, solar power. We actually do this in schools, in health centers, in public facilities, in community regions, where they have challenges of water, access to water. But let me mention one particular project that I'm really proud of. Just Kitui here, one of their biggest challenges is salty water.
Yeah.
They use borehole water,
Okay.
salty water. Most of the people have grown in places where the taste of water is always salty. And what they don't understand is the adverse effect of what is the salt in the water, because some of it is heavy metals, minerals that are beyond safety for human consumption, that have an effect on their body, that they live with over time. But we got to install several of purification systems. We call them desalination, solar powered, in 6 villages in Kitui. And for the first time, some of those villages were tasting fresh tasting water. It was so amazing to hear their stories and to know now that from then on, even their children will be having safe water to drink. Because some of the time, what we think about is waterborne diseases. That if the water makes you sick, then it is not good water. But some of the water has minerals that are beyond what the body can do, and it is harmful.
Okay.
And some of it is even tasty. The taste is not good. So we were able to do that for 6 communities in Kitui, where now they have safe water. They drink, the quality of bottled water we do here in the city, we have them for a mother in the village in Kitui.
Fantastic.
So that for me was
Fantastic.
really,
Awesome.
yeah.
That's a good one. NCBA is doing a great job, because I'm sure they're part of this. Amazing.
Yes, it's a journey we couldn't have done without, of course, this equipment, desalination equipment. You're talking of millions of shillings in terms of putting a single unit. That you require a financial partner, and yes, NCBA came in hand. Yes.
On that positive note, I think we need to take a break. Just as you get to, internalize that, what are you waiting for? This is what NCBA is doing for people out there, impacting lives. Come on, so keep it here. Don't go too far, because we're taking a very short break. We're taking a music break called Brand New. Have a brand new life, brand new financial strategies with NCBA. We'll be right back after this music break.
Kote nchini matumaini, tujitahidi, tujivunie, tuendelee mbele, twende mbele, mbele, tuendelee. Twende mbele, 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 twende mbele, tuendelee. Mbele, Kenya twende mbele.
Kenya,
Tuendelee.
twende mbele. NCBA, go for it.
Indeed, NCBA, go for it. Just like Mary has gone for it, what are you waiting for? Go for it. And as we get into our socials, I'll start with, I think this is for you, Susan. Someone is saying, Edwin saying, hi, Sally, interesting discussion over there. Please ask Susan if NCBA funds startup businesses as opposed to running businesses. I have a business idea, but I need capital to start. Can they come through for me? Susan, probably you can respond to that before we get to another question for Mary.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is an interesting question that we usually get all the time.
Yeah.
And I want you to imagine, the one who's asked this question, I want you to imagine that if you had money yourself and somebody came to borrow, what are the questions you ask?
Okay.
Where do you think you would be able to invest your money? And that's the same position the bank is usually in.
Okay.
You're asking us to finance a startup. Does it work? Or rather, is this business idea going to work? We also don't know. Is there enough market for it? We also don't know. So usually we support businesses that are running. That is the usual thing. Because we have seen that indeed if we sow our seed or if we partnered with you, then we'll be able to also get results. Remember, we're also investors. We're investing in your business and then we partner together. You get your cut, we get our cut. However, we can listen, and we do listen to startups in very, very special cases where we are convinced that it's a good idea, you have a good plan, you have done another business probably, because management of a business requires you to have had some experience so that people can have some sort of confidence in that sort of business. Remember, there are very many businesses in the world. Some fail, some succeed. And the rate of failure, we actually say very few businesses see their 5th birthday. I don't know what the percentages are right now. They have improved, but usually an SME, very few see their 5th birthday. Do we want that by the 5th birthday we are going down with you? No. So we need to just be careful. But we indeed finance startups. On special cases, you come, we speak to us, you speak to us, and we can evaluate, and you'll be able to run your business.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Then someone else is saying, good morning, family. I'm listening to Mary talk of the challenges and just wondering if I can borrow a tip from her. How does she motivate her staff to ensure quality results, Mary? Because human resources is my biggest challenge. You invest so much, but it doesn't reflect what you get. For Susan, please help me know if NCBA helps one to identify or reach new and wider market access. So Mary, how do you manage the staffing bit? Challenges?
Yeah, I totally feel you. I mean, staffing is always a challenge for any SME. Getting the right talent in the first place. And there's always what they say, getting the right person and getting them to the right role. And right person is about, do they their values resonate with the values of the organization. So the organization has to have values or a culture that you build, that people who come in fit into that culture and the values resonate. That way, then that is possibly a right person. But now identifying that right person to sit on the right seat, it's about now their competence and their abilities. But one of the things that an entrepreneur has to do is try and ensure your vision is well articulated to the staff, that you're aligned on what you're trying to achieve, so that everybody is pulling together and we don't have a lot of people pulling apart because they have no understanding of where we are going. So being very clear on the vision or where the organization is going, being very clear on the role of each of the people you have, and working with them. People are people and they have mistakes. In even yourself, you're not a perfect manager or leader in that organization. You will make mistakes. So it is also accepting when mistakes are done, you correct them. Hence comes the either mentorship for the younger growing members of staff, training. And NCBA is good at organizing webinars for training, and even I get my staff to get involved in some of those trainings where they pick a topic and we talk about it. And we have learned so much from some of those webinars, some of those trainings that we have, and also from an entrepreneur's point, how do you get right talent to fit into the right places, and then how do you keep motivating your staff? And they say, yes, paying a salary is motivating, but not entirely. And some of the generations we have, like the Gen Zs, they are looking for many different varied things that money cannot pay. So understanding them, getting to their levels to understand what is it that really makes a difference. But one of the things right now that is a big challenge is mental health. And some of organizations are having challenges because of the mental health of the staff. And that comes to the workplace or even created at the workplace. So navigating that, trying to get people to address those underlying things, and then they don't come out in their work as they perform their duties.
There was also, for you, Susan, someone is saying, do you help, as NCBA, do you help one identify or reach newer and wider market space in business?
Yes. Despite us trusting that you're able to actually market your business, we have seen that gap of market exposure. Locally, we try and match or put you in boot camps, as Mary is saying, put you in education and just try to open up your mind into how you can market your goods. But most importantly, we expose customers to international markets. We have put people or customers into trips. We've taken them to Turkey, we've taken them to China, we've taken them to Thailand, just for them to try and see, meet maybe their peers in business, but also to broaden your mind and also close on agreements. The best thing you can do is meet a supplier who can be able to give you good terms when you're importing. Also, it's also good to go and get a customer who you can send goods to. You could get a market in Rwanda, you could get a market in Tanzania. But these networking platforms are with us. We put you in a class, you network, we have forums, and we open up your mind for marketing. But also we encourage businesses to be open to partnerships, which is not a very popular thing with businesses. You can partner with somebody who has the market. They are not stealing your idea, but instead they are enhancing your idea, and it can really, a narrow path can go and get very wide. You can even partner with a competitor and kill the market or get the market. You can partner with a higher player and get that market. A bigger player would have a market that they are totally not able to serve completely, but they will be able to give you part of it. That, unless you keep seeking for those, you may not be able to hack it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people should stop being paranoid.
Yeah,
Like when you
but
partner,
please-
then you're coming to eat my cake as
Yes.
well. Okay,
Be
fantastic.
open to
All
collaboration.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Nice. And so now, when we speak about Mary, your experience as a woman when it came to accessing funds as a woman from NCBA, how was it like?
So like I said, my first experience with NCBA Bank was very pleasant. I mean, I had walked around many financial institutions and struggled to finance these big contracts.
Yeah.
But NCBA was able to sit with me, look at my business case, and help me to see, even structure that contract that they can be able to finance. Now, as a woman, you know, most of the times we don't have those big title deeds, or we do not have, big fat bank accounts, and you're thinking to yourself, then how do I do this? What I have experienced with NCBA is not necessarily the big issues, the big money that scale your business, help you to scale your business. Sometimes it is the little, help that you get from the bank, which when you're running a business, and a lot of time they finance running businesses, they look at your cash flows and they may not even require for any security from you. They will also look at the customers that you serve, this LPO financing, this financing of a specific project. Look at a project, they see how you work with it. If you have a good case, then in terms of whether they require you to put big security, whatever you have, within your business, even your own assets within the business or your own stock. For us who import stock, they look at that, and they are not bent on you have to have land, you have to have a construction somewhere. They look at exactly how you're structured and work with you in your current situation. Yeah.
I hope there's a woman out there listening or even just watching us, and you've heard what NCBA does and how they find you as a woman. So as they say, NCBA, go for it. Please go for that funding. You can access it as a woman, and that easily for that matter. Susan, when it comes to innovations on financing, what innovations, financial innovations do you have as NCBA that help cater for the SME needs?
Okay, so we have many innovations, and maybe for today we can just look at Mary because she's the one who's here.
Right.
For example, if you're importing like she did, we come and discuss with her. She did not have the money to do the importation.
Right.
And we have to sit down and find out where you're buying. And we structured an LC, or rather a letter of credit, where goods will come from abroad. And innovate that we can actually get, we can issue an LC without having to pay money upfront. And when we receive the goods is when we pay for those. So we become innovative in how we can follow the shilling, or rather the idea, then follow the shilling. Remember, this was a contract, so when the person or the contract off-taker, I would say, off-taker, they commit that they will pay to us, so we get into that cycle. They just give us an undertaking that the money will come to us. And so we are safe. That is innovation in itself, that we are able to complete a transaction safely.
Okay.
In terms of security, I know Mary has spoken about it. Yes, indeed, sometimes you may not have security, but usually it is security not sufficient.
Okay. Because
you've had there's already an LC, there's stock. Usually, sometimes it's not sufficient. And we've partnered with organizations, many organizations like Africa Guarantee Fund, Africa Trade Insurance, They already figured it out. They already knew these gaps are there, even for women.
Okay.
So they come and we share the risk. We call it sharing risk. That risk of giving you the money and maybe it will not come back. So we share the risk, and sometimes it's 50-50, sometimes it's 60-40. And for women, it's higher, mainly because we've noticed that, women are better payers.
Okay.
But not necessarily to discriminate. We do not discriminate.
Yeah, because you'll see,
Yes.
I'm sure you immediately can see a comment. What are you saying anyway?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well put.
Yeah.
Mary, what drives you on those hard days? Because I know they're there. What drives you?
Wow. For me, I think what I do is very fulfilling.
Yeah.
When I wake up in the morning, I imagine that we provide water to a community that previously did not have water.
Yes.
They had to walk kilometers to get water. And to imagine that now through our innovations, through our work, through our expertise, we are able to go there and provide that which has not been there for a while.
Okay.
That for me keeps me going despite the challenges that come around. But also, you cannot sit back. All these, as we say, feels very rosy. Yes, we are able to do that. But also knowing that between my finance manager and my relationship manager at NCBA Bank, whatever needs to be done in between, they will handle.
Right.
Sometimes gives me a lot of peace of mind. So that for me is something I don't take for granted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely. Probably I'll just sample one, because of time, I'll sample one comment here, feedback, or is it a question actually? Does NCBA offer overdraft facilities or flexible credit lines for SMEs? And are there other institutions or government initiatives one can tap into through the bank, Susan?
Yes, we offer overdraft facilities and credit lines.
Okay.
So depending on your business or your situation, usually overdraft is meant to cater for the fixed costs in your business.
Okay.
For example, rent, salaries, those, whatever you do, you have to pay people.
Yeah.
You have to pay rent. You have to pay, the statutory payments. And so even when you have done business and you don't have that money, the bank comes in to make sure that all those fixed costs are met. And we calculate and see how much overdraft do you actually need to meet those costs. The credit lines are for the occasional or the time-to-time, say, contracts or businesses that you actually are going to do. You need a limit where you know that as you're doing your marketing, as you're sourcing for contract like Mary, you can go negotiate a contract, whatever amount it is. For example, if you have a contract for 20 million, you can go negotiate for 20 million with your mind knowing that you have a line with us of probably 10 million that can actually be able to be utilized to meet this contract of 20 million.
Okay.
So we look at the trends of your contract, the trends of your business, and give you a line so that it's there waiting for you to get the business and you can be able to utilize.
Okay.
So that the headache of cash, the headache of sleepless nights of where will I get the money to meet this contract in time, where is gone.
Okay.
Now remember, sometimes it's not just financial, it's not just overdraft, it's not just the credit line.
Yeah.
The credit limits we can give is also for bid bonds, for performance bonds. These contracts require bid bonds, they require performance bonds, advance payment guarantees. And those are papers you can just get from the bank.
Okay.
Do you have a place where you can go get them?
Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay.
So we do have, and we are open to them.
Lovely, lovely.
Yes.
I'm sure whoever sent that question, they've been answered appropriately.
Yes.
Mary, your closing remarks as we get to the end of the show. Parting shot.
All right. So for me, I like to demystify entrepreneurship.
All right.
I got into a field which is very male-dominated. And also I grew my business at a time when, you know, in a new environment, doing solar when solar wasn't quite known.
Okay.
I like to tell people, when you have the idea and you do your research well, take the bold step.
And go for it.
And go for it. Just like NCBA says, just go for it.
Okay.
Find your good financial partner.
Okay.
I have found mine in NCBA without a doubt, and it's been a journey of 13 years now. And looking forward and even looking back, I wouldn't have done this without NCBA's support, for sure.
Wow.
Looking forward, I think there's so much more that I think I can do, and I can't wait to sit again with my banker and see next, what can we do next.
Amazing.
So be bold, go for it.
Amazing. And I'm not going to add anything that we have to end the show right there, and we've ended it at a very good point. Go for it. Susan, thank you so much for making time. Mary, this has been a beautiful conversation, a lot of feedback right there, a lot of people learning, you know, and really asking those questions. I know, as I always say, this is like a class, a financial class. This is a financial literacy class. And I say thank you so much for your time, you know, and also for that special group of people, our partners who've ensured we've been on air for the last 25 years, bringing you such impactful content. We want to say asante sana. If you want to be part of this team, the partners, then you can do that by sending the word partner on 20316 or WhatsApp us on 0786 316 316, the word partner, and someone will reach out to you. And if you want to be of support to this ministry as well, you can do that by sending in your support on paybill number 316 316. The account number shall be your telephone number. God bless you and keep you. See you again tomorrow. God bless you. Bye.